Good morning everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Belinda here. I am going to hopefully make up a quick journal. My husband has asked for one because I was encouraging him to get into journaling, and he says, yeah, make me one and I'll do it. So that's super exciting because it's really nice to share something that you love doing with the ones that you love. So I've already gone ahead and trimmed down a piece of wallpaper to size, and I've put down double-sided tape on one side just to save a bit of time on video, because I thought you didn't really need to see me do that, and you'll get to see me do more of it on the other side. So double-sided tape is not my preference for doing covers. But in this case I'm going with it. It's quick, it's easy. I just don't know long term how it's going to hold up to, whether the tape will perish and give way and the cover will come loose or something. But this is for my husband, and I do this with my own journals as well. I haven't had any issues, but you never know. So this is just a quick and easy way. And I am going to add some glue just for good measure, so that if the tape does perish over time, that the glue hopefully will still hold. So I'm just adding in some, this is my premium craft glue. It's a alcohol based glue, and I'm just going in between the bits of tape, basically a little bit over, that's fine. Just to give it some longevity, and just make double sure that it lasts. You could use tacky glue or PVA, your school type glue, totally for this, if you wanted to use the tape as well. I just really like my alcohol based glue for its stickability. It's a really good glue. It does dry super fast though, so you've got to work fast. And for my cover I'm just using old, what's it called, product leaflets I guess, but they're out of cardstock. So now I'm just trimming up the corners, angling them differently. It seems to work better, don't ask me why, but it does. And I haven't cut evenly, it's not evenly centered around the edges. It doesn't matter because the inside edges are going to be covered with paper, so it's not a problem. And I'm just doing a writer's journal really, so the pages are fairly blank so they can be written on, because I don't know that my lovely hubby would necessarily know what to do with a book page and how to work with a book page. Although I am trying to encourage him to be arty with it as well, to use colour and get creative with it as well. But I don't expect him to be up and running full on sort of art journaling style journaling when he's never done it before. So I thought I'd give him plainish pages to work with. Still a little bit of interest in there just to make it fun to look at, but to give him room to develop. And his style of art is very graphic in terms of pattern, and he likes to use bold black pen. Sometimes he'll use a bold blue or red, but so I'm trying to give him something that will work with his style, and then hoping that he can really invest some time into it and develop his own style of journaling, because I do really believe in the value of journaling. It's something I've done, well, I guess you call it more diary keeping, what I used to do, because it was just writing. And I used to go through phases of it whenever I was going through a major life event, like getting married or things like that. I'd pick up a diary and fill it out every day and note down things, and then I'd get kind of bored. Well, not kind of bored, I just got bored with it, and I'd stop, and then the next sort of thing coming up I'd start off again. But my problem was it was just writing, and I'm a visual person. I call myself an artist, somewhat loosely, I guess. But that's what was lacking in my diary keeping, was there was no visual stimulation. There weren't photos, there wasn't colour. Occasionally I might have used a colour pen, and that was about it. But it was quick, it was scrawled, and I didn't really know what to write about half the time. You know, I'd like write, oh, it was a warm day, I ate this, or I went here, or you know, whatever my mood was. Whoops, haven't lined that up very well. Ooh, I'm too busy talking, aren't I? Just peel it off to where it's not overlapping, and then try again. So yeah, it was just very, very boring. I'm a writer as well, so I love writing, but I've found I really need that visual aspect to make it fun, and I'm thoroughly enjoying doing it. Admittedly, I have only been doing it a couple of months now, but already I can see the development in the style of what I'm doing, and the freeness, is that a word? Of journaling with colour and images and things that don't even necessarily mean anything. And my good friend Lydia over at February and June has been such a wonderful inspiration for me. She's really the one I look to, and she encourages me, and she's just awesome. So thank you, Lydia, because I know you'll probably be watching this at some point. So if you aren't subscribed to Lydia, her channel is February and June, and she's a journaler. She also makes journals as well. Right, haven't got enough there, and my small roll is on the floor. So let's trim this in half to fit. I should have put this wider strip on the outside, but never mind, too busy talking. Yeah, so I do recommend Lydia if you'd like to develop your own style of journaling. She's just amazing, and that's where I get a lot of my inspiration from, on how to journal, what to journal if I'm sort of getting a bit lost. And she brings out prompts, a prompt week every month for a week, a different prompt every day for 5 days, and I've found them super helpful and fun. So in the last one, the one we did for September, we were journaling about, one day it was the smell of your shampoo that you're using at the moment, and what were some of the other things? Something cool or memorable that you'd read recently. You know, just things that actually are quite nice to write about and keep a record of. So yeah, that's my little plug for Lydia. Thoroughly recommend her. And that's kind of a little bit of the backstory of my own journaling journey, I guess. So I can't see myself stopping anytime soon, because I'm just loving it. And I just sit there sometimes, and I've done my spread, and I just sit and flick back through the month journal, and I just love it. It's pretty, it's interactive, it's little details that already I had forgotten. So yeah, this one's a little bit wide, but it doesn't matter at all. That's why I didn't have enough room down the other side for the 2 lines of tape. Right, so hopefully everybody is well today and having a great day. I'm looking forward to having a very creative day. I was out all day yesterday, which was really nice. There was a lot of laughter in the office yesterday, and we all had a shared lunch. It was provided by my husband's boss, provided a lunch, and so we all sat around the table, and there was less staff there because a lot were away sick. So it was just a lot of fun and light-hearted and lots of banter going on. So that was really fun. And I sat most of the day fussy cutting digital kits that I'd purchased recently. And I got 13 pages cut up, and I've got a bazillion to go. So I'm going to be out again tomorrow, and guess what I'm going to be doing tomorrow? For some reason that doesn't want to sit flat. But never mind. So you may notice I didn't put the glue on these ones, but they'll be fine because they're going to have another piece of paper over top. So there we go. I've chosen a wallpaper that's, I think, suitably masculine. And you will notice that well, you might notice, I don't know if it shows up on camera, there's little scratches and things on this wallpaper. It does show scratches, and sometimes they come off with a rubber. Not all of them, but sometimes they will come off with a rubber. I don't know how that works. But by the time you've handled it and shoved it in places, and it's going to end up scratched and marked and everything. But they're not really scratches, they're just marks. Yeah, anyway, just in case you noticed that and thought, oh, that's what that is. Now, I haven't actually pre-chosen a page for the inside. So let's just have a wee flick through here and see what might suit. Oops, I've got some fluff off the carpet on the bottom. That one, the trees might go quite nice with that tealy colour. So let's just go with this one. And it's not girly. You can go any gender. So I think quite suitable. So now I'm just going to trim up a piece. So the width is fine. I just need to chop it down for the height. So I have an announcement coming tomorrow. So make sure you watch tomorrow's video because super excited. Here's an announcement. And you really want to watch that one. So you can get in on what I'm going to be announcing. I like being mysterious. Got to keep you on your toes, Right, 3.5 inches. I really need to get a better paper trimmer. My big one is awesome, but it's big and it's heavy, so I only bring it out when I need to do multiple things. And my 12-inch paper trimmer, you can no longer get the blades for, and my blades dull and they just shred paper, which is super annoying. And I'm not that fussed, like the blades just dulled super quickly on it. So I need a new one that will do 12-inch paper, so I don't have to go through this process of measuring. And my scissors need a clean. I've been cutting tape and I can feel the resistance of the sticky blades. Ugh, hard to open too. Right, so there's our page. Now which way round do I want this? Want those flowers, or do I want that? I think I like those flowers on the front. Right, so again I am just going to use double-sided tape, and I do use a lot of double-sided tape doing this, but it's $2 a roll. I don't really mind. Actually, shall I use glue? My problem is when I use tape, it's not getting it across the spine, because that's a pain when you're sewing in your signature, because it adds stickiness and can create a real headache trying to get your needle and cord through. Or shall I use tape now that I've folded it to guide my... Okay, let's use tape. I, as always, reserve the right to change my mind. So yeah, I always avoid the spine when I'm using sticky stuff. So good thing I didn't clean my scissors, because they're going to get sticky again anyway. So yeah, so I've got lots of plans for today, so it'll be interesting to see how much I get achieved. And it's a bit cooler today. We had rain overnight and it's supposed to be cool for the next few days. So I lit the fire this morning because it wasn't too bad, but I could feel myself chilling down. And so I thought, oh, I'll have to light the fire, otherwise I'm just going to be miserable. But it didn't take very long till it warmed up to a really nice temperature, so I've been able to shut the fire down and just leave it ticking over. Right, and I'll just put one in the centre of each side just for good measure. So now do this side. So hopefully you're not finding this boring. I'm trying to do it as quickly as possible and not sort of labour over explanations or anything. I have already done this in another video, but I have got a lot of new subscribers. Hi everybody that's new. Nice to have you here. So some people may not have seen it, or they might be new to junk journaling or journal making. So I thought I might as well do this on camera again. But do it more quickly. So it's not really a tutorial, it's just me making. And down the bottom. It's like, I don't think I've done all the edges. So yeah, if you're a journal maker, let me know your favourite way of attaching your covers, apart from sewing. Obviously that's a different thing altogether, different technique. But what's your favourite way of covering your journals? Do you use glue, tape, combination, sewing, matte medium? Matte medium is actually my favourite way of doing it, but I've run out. And I found this jar of heavy gel, and it's a gloss one, which is still fine as an adhesive. I haven't used it at all. But I can't find my, what am I trying to say? Palette knife, which I usually apply it with. And I didn't really have anything else I could spread it out with. And it's messier too, so I love the results. I don't particularly like working with the sticky mess, but it is really good. So that's my preference. Right, I better put the trees up the right way. Be a helpful thing to do. Right, so I'm just going to put that kind of on the centre. Oops. And I'll try and centre it vertically as well, would be a good idea. I guess that's rough enough. I'm being quick because, you know, I'm not going to be selling this journal. It's going to be just here at home with hubby, and won't be a problem. So if it falls apart, I can fix it. Let me say though, I fully expect that it will never ever fall apart unless he's like actively ripping it, which he wouldn't do. So, and while I'm saying that, please don't misunderstand me and think that, you know, that's a dodgy job, because it's not. I expect it to perfectly last for years and years and years. Right, there we go. We have our inner paper in. Quick and easy. And then you can fold it in half. So there's our journal cover. Cool. Right, happy with that so far? Right, now to the pages. I have already chosen out some pages. So firstly I'm going to go for just a regular A4 size, and this is eco-dyed paper. It's bond paper that I've eco-dyed, and this particular piece is quite old now. It's one of the first batches I did a few years ago, which I've got. Whoops, something's rattling over there. Sorry if that's distracting you. It's distracting me. So I've only got a few pieces of that left. There's some coffee dyed bubble paper. So I've got some interesting papers like this in here. Then a piece of just lined loose leaf paper, which will, the lines will be sideways, but that's fine. You can turn it round, or you can just write across sideways on it. It's all good. And then I've got a bunch of just different coloured papers here. Now I have already counted out, and I think I've got 16 pages here. A typical journal that I'd make would have 15. But I learnt from Lydia to have 16 pages, and I found that's really good. It just gives you a little bit extra for those months where there's the 31 days, so you don't run out of space. This is just another bit of lined paper from a promotional writing pad. So just lots of different colours. Make it interesting, so if he doesn't get colourful, he's still got colour there in his journal. Now this one, yes, needs trimming down about an inch or so. This is a quite a thick, heavy paper, which I'm also running out of because I've had it for years. So it is good to use these things up. It's about time I was using them up, because I've had them for so long. And then I can get new stuff. I don't think I'll ever find this particular paper again, but there'll be something else out there. Alright, is that straight? It's too long for my cutting mat. I can't actually line up my lines, but that looks close enough. This nice strip for something. So yeah, sorry, this part's not particularly thrilling, is it? Me folding paper in half, but it won't take long. Oh, whatever is rattling on my desk is super annoying. It's very distracting. So I've been setting up my new shelving and things, so I've actually been able to remove some stuff that was stored on my desk, and that I guess has left something that didn't used to rattle is now rattling. So I shall have to deal with that. Oh, I've got two bits the same. How many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's already folded. Lined paper that's been coffee dyed. So it's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's alright. We can have two bits of this. So yes, I have got 16 pages here. Took it out of the packet. I must have grabbed 2 sheets by accident. Right, and then I've got a variety of digitals here, just subtle. I've included a bit of pink. My husband is not adverse to pink at all, I added a vignette to it just to soften it a little bit, and this is a free digital, I think, from Design Bundles. I think that's where that one was from. Here's a map, which you might not be able to see the detail on. It's very subtle print in sort of a creamy yellow and blue. And this one is from, I don't know if you can see that. It's from Weathered Textures on Etsy. This one I have no idea, Random Digital. And then this one is, I think, from creativefabrica.com, and it's a watercolor stripe background. And again, it's very, very light, so easy to write on. And you know what? Normally I would trim off the white borders, but I'm not going to this time. Again, it's not for sale, it's for my husband. It just gives a little bit, just that smidge of extra room to write or something. And he's not going to mind the white edges. So I'm going to spare you me cutting the edges off. Aren't I kind? You don't have to sit and wait for me to trim off the edges, which I should have done off camera if I was truly prepared. Anyway, but maybe on this one I will, because they are more noticeable, and maybe on the pink one. So, but on those other two, it was so hard to see some of the edges that I probably would have ended up just trimming off part of the pattern. So I'm just going to quickly whip around these 4 edges. And I'm being quick, I'm not worrying if I go slightly wonky. My husband will forgive me, if he even notices they're wonky. Love you, darling, just in case he watches this video, because he does occasionally watch some of my videos. So I normally take a lot more care than this when I am doing it for sale. So please don't judge my workmanship by this particular project. Same for like when I do my own journals. I'm not precious about it. I do it, you know, quick, fast, easy, imperfect, lumpy. It doesn't matter. It's my journal, right? And it's used for a month, and then will sit on a shelf, and every now and then I'll look through it and enjoy it. But it absolutely does not have to be picture perfect and of saleable quality. Alright, I might just take off this, or should I just do all 4? I was thinking I'd just take off this edge, but you know, maybe I should do all 4. Oops, very wonky. Well, there's a few lines on this. I think my printer had a little hiccup. I've been doing a lot of printing this morning, so it might have just been needing a little rest. I've been pushing it quite hard, and I left things still printing away in the office when I came out to do my video, so I'll be going into a whole lot of other printed out things to trim up. This is just a narrow wee strip along this edge. And last one, you'll be relieved to know. So when I altered this one and gave it a vignette, it also altered the flowers, and they were quite a bright white, and it's sort of given them a blue-grey tinge. So, and I might put this one on the inside. Oh, please excuse me, my ears just blocked for some weird reason, and I feel like I'm talking in a bucket of water. Right, and these I've printed on my printer just at standard quality. I normally print at standard vivid, so these are printed at lower quality because I wanted them paler. I didn't want them really bold. Right, now I'm just going to put them together in some sort of order. Mix up some lined and then with coffee dyed and colour. It's a nice textured bit, different size, which is cool. And this one's a smaller one as well. It's a bit of coffee dyed ruled paper. Another printable. Oops. Some purple. Coffee dyed. Some blue. Let's put in this watercolour striped one. It's also blue. And the other green. I'm not worried about order at all for this. They're all fairly neutral. That's probably the most decorative page there, but light enough that it can be written on. Okay, so as you would have noticed, all the pages are now sticking out because as you put them together, they get further and further out in the spine, so you'll end up with pages that stick out. Now usually I will trim those down, but they all fit within this, so I'm not going to worry. So I was just trying to unblock my ear and it's not working. Right, so this is my box of binding supplies. So I grab out my needle, and what colour string do I want? I think the brown will work beautifully. And what else am I looking for? Oh, my clips. And I haven't yet decided whether I'm going to put book corners on it, so I will perhaps wait and do that if my husband wants them, because they can be done at any stage, so I don't need to do them up front. Right, find my middle, there it is. Now I'm going to try and press in as close as I can, as hard in towards the spine as possible, and then clip it in place so it doesn't move around while I'm doing the binding. Right, I think that's, oops, that one just needs a little adjustment. Right, there we go. Oh, my awl. I didn't grab out my awl, silly Billy. Okay, so my little sharp awl for doing the holes, and I do, oops, just turn this around the right way, do the middle first, see if it's tight enough in, and I'm just roughly eyeballing, and then about an inch or an inch and a half, very approximate, from each end. And they don't have to be even at all, it's just wherever it lands. Okay, right, so now I grab my wax cord. Get rid of my foam, which is what I used to dig my awl into, and I want 3 times the height of the journal, and this will provide me some quite long tails at the end. So if you prefer to be more economical with your cord, then do your binding without cutting your cord. Works perfectly well. I just don't mind. I like to have the option of the tails and what I do with them, so I don't mind there being a little bit of wastage, if then it ends up being wastage. Okay. So by having long tails, it gives me the ability to tie on charms. So just down through the middle, up through the bottom, down through the middle again. Hopefully you can see this. Hopefully I'm on camera. And then in the top one, and then just passing it through that first one and taking the needle off. So that was very quick, I know. So hopefully you followed that. Now I'm just tightening it. Not so tight that it warps the spine. You don't want to end up bending your spine, but tight enough that it's, you know, it's going to hold your pages in nicely. That could actually be a bit tighter. That's okay. Yep, no, that'll still be okay. It could have been a little fraction tighter. There we go, and there's my ends. So different lengths, and I love having the different lengths because if I do put charms or something on, I like them to stagger. So there we go. Put my needle back in the packet before I lose it. I've already lost that other needle I had in there. Not sure where it's gone. And I always put them back in the packet, so I honestly don't know what happened to the other one. Right, put everything back in my box. Needles and the thread. So I used a wax cord. That's my favourite thing for threading with, and I've got black, small packet of black, and I've got blue and brown, and I've got this one that was supposed to be the same, that it's white but it's not waxed and it's round, it's not flat. So they sent me the wrong thing, annoyingly, and it doesn't hold the knots the same, so I hardly ever use it. I'll find a use for it somewhere. Right, so there's my husband's journal to get journaling in. I'm not going to add any pockets or belly bands or anything like that because I don't think he would really know how to do them. And because it's for him, if he needs anything like that, if he wants a pocket or something, then I can just make it and he can add it in. So, you know, benefit to doing it for someone in the family is that you can just add as needed. It doesn't all need to be a complete journal. That's all he really needs, and probably all he really wants. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me making this journal for my husband, and maybe one day I'll be able to give you a flick through of it full. That would be exciting. It's probably going to take a while though. So thanks for joining me today, and remember I've got an announcement coming, so don't miss out on that, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining me. Bye.